It's new camera day. New camera just showed up in the mail and I'm super excited. So,
can we start with the little one?
no, we can't start with the little one. We're going for the big one first. I'm too excited.
That's the little one that I want to open.
We're opening this one, Hazel.
It's my knife after all.
Careful, it's my camera.
Ew! Cheesies!
So here it is. The dad crown. My hair's messy, so I'm gonna wear a hat. But otherwise, there's this. This fancy toy. This fun time toy business with all its fun little things that it does. So the big question is, why did I buy the Canon C200 in the year 2020? And the big reason is that I just have some projects that I have planned and have been working on for a while, and that's the camera for the job. So I'm a filmmaker. I do a lot of corporate video, which is essentially a lot of interviews, mini documentaries for companies, right? I work with companies to tell their story and explain it to other people in a way that's easy and makes sense and makes like an emotional connection with them. And for the most part, I've been getting away with just using DSLRs. I'm shooting this on a Canon EOS R. It's going out in 10-bit to the Ninja Recorder. This camera is great. I really like it, but it definitely has its limitations. And looking at some of the projects that I'm planning to do moving forward, this camera is great. It'll have a place, but it can't be my A camera anymore. And I've been operating without a B camera for almost a year now, which I don't normally do. I usually like to have two cameras, and they used to be two kind of DSLR bodies. I have been looking for the right camera for me for a while, and the C200 has been on the top of my list since it came out. For me, that's the perfect camera. So there's a lot of videos that talk about all the specs and everything that goes on in this camera. But I'm not going to do that because I want to talk about why this camera fits into my workflow and why I chose it over other cameras that are around now and might be coming out soon. So, why did I buy the Canon C200 in 2020 over other cameras that might be better? And one of the main reasons why is that it's still one of the best cameras for what it does. And specifically, this goes back to the idea that this camera is kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. It's the fact that it has like multiple things that it does really well, all in one piece, that some other cameras either leave out or just don't have or never got to or don't think is important. So number one, the RAW and the 8-bit options, those are really great for me. The RAW is really good for me. I actually don't know how much I'm going to be using the 8-bit options. My computer can process the RAW fairly easily, so it's actually not that big of a deal. Next up is audio. Audio is actually one of the big reasons that I'm really interested in this camera. I have missed having dedicated XLRs in my cameras. I started off shooting with video cameras that, typically had two XLRs, but since moving over to DSLRs, that's just something that got left behind, was autofocus and audio. Autofocus has come back, but XLRs haven't yet. I'm not just a cinematographer, I'm also a videographer, so I have to worry about audio. I do a lot of interviews, I do a lot of documentary-based stuff, and most of the time I just use an audio recorder and sync in post, and that's fine. But I am tired of that. I want that all connected as all one system, right? That's the big thing, is I want an integrated system. Modular is nice, but I like it all to work as a single unit as much as possible. That just means like less things to set up, less things to do in post, It all just works, and that kind of reliability and usability is what I'm really looking for right now in the work that I'm doing. So on one hand, yeah, it's having these two XLR inputs. That's great. And another thing that's important is not only do I have two inputs, but I can record 4 audio channels, which means that I can run safety tracks on those 2 inputs. So I can run them high, and then I can run a second track for each channel running, 3 to 6 dB lower, so that if anything goes over and clips, it's safe and I have it, and that's great. I haven't had the option of 4-channel safety tracks in a camera that I own and I'm not renting in quite a while, and I'm at the point where I want to have that again. It'd be really great to just have it all together, all one unit. And the next kind of big thing is autofocus. I've gotten really used to having autofocus again in the EOS R. The EOS R autofocus works really great. I'm still dialing in the settings on the C200, so I'm not really going to give an opinion on it either way. So far it works well. So having good autofocus has become really important to the way I shoot. Not just with interviews, and having the face-only autofocus for interviews is going to be great, but also for the way I shoot B-roll. And it just means that I have to do less takes. I can get it quicker, I can be sure that it's going to be okay, and it works well. At least with the EOS R, I've really liked it. So I'm addicted to autofocus. I've been manually focusing for 15 years. Having autofocus is a great thing. I love it. It's great. The next thing is ergonomics. So having a camera that's built for shooting video and not for shooting stills is awesome. I like that this camera is tall and heavy because I like to hang for stability. For me, that's how I get the most stable shots, and it's typically how I like to shoot. I just love that this camera just feels like, hold it. I just love that this camera feels like you can just cradle it, hold it, and get smooth, steady shots. Unlike, lighter DSLRs or even something like a Blackmagic, which you've got to kit out anyways to get like this. So those are the reasons why I bought the C200, maybe why you want to buy one, or maybe why you don't want to buy one because it doesn't make sense for what you need. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos about cameras and filmmaking, subscribe and follow along. And otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Anyways, Dad Hat out.